Who would have thought that 3,600 years ago there was a being on Earth who was almost like a god? He was the oldest mutant, Apocalypse. With his power to destroy everything, he easily ruled all of Egypt and became the highest king. However, even with great power, Apocalypse still could not escape death. To live forever, whenever his body became weak, he looked for a new body to be reborn in. This time, his guards finally found him a perfect vessel, a young body with the power to heal itself. In this way, their master could truly live forever. With the lead horseman's order, the slaves outside the pyramid pulled the ropes hard and lifted the 4 heavy curtains on the top at the same time. In an instant, bright sunlight poured down the rune-covered passage. Pushed by the ancient spell, all the sacred energy gathered under Apocalypse, and his body slowly rose. But just as his soul was about to leave, the soldiers outside the pyramid suddenly rose up. They had seen through Apocalypse's false god identity and refused to be enslaved for generations. So they smashed the supports holding the massive boulder, sending it rolling down the chute into the pyramid. At the same time, the soldiers inside worked with them and sealed the exit tight. The chief horseman grew furious and struck out from midair, turning 2 soldiers into skeletons with one blow. Seeing this, the other soldiers rushed forward, but the chief horseman released his power and burned them all into red-hot cinders. Under the impact of the boulder, the pyramid began to crumble, and the altar inside shook violently. But Apocalypse's 4 horsemen still held their ground. By now, the soul transfer had reached its final stage. The next second, however, the boulder arrived, smashing the last pillar inside the altar. Just before being buried, one of the horsemen used all her strength to transfer Apocalypse's armor onto the new body and used her power to add a protective shield. The next second, she was crushed by the falling boulder. In her final moments, she still used her remaining energy to protect Apocalypse from the stones, until everything became quiet and she closed her eyes forever. But without the last step of the ritual, Apocalypse could not wake and was buried in darkness for all time. Thousands of years later, a group of Apocalypse's followers found the place. As they chanted the spell at the altar, a ray of sunlight came through the opening and unexpectedly completed the ritual. The next second, Apocalypse opened his eyes. Remembering the betrayal 3,000 years ago, he burned with anger. So he gathered his strength and threw off all the boulders on top of him. As the whole site turned into dust, mutants around the world all felt a wave of terrifying power.